Hi, I'm Holly from Lakehouse, and I'm an official Ric Rac-aholic. And I like to use Ric Rac on a lot of my projects, and I especially like it when you can apply them very easily. And I'm going to show you a little technique. This is a 9-patch, all sewn up, and I like to put the Ric Rac in places where you don't really have to put any lines, you don't have to do any special extra work. You just use the geometry of the quilt to help you apply your Ric Rac. So in this case, we're going to do it like this. I'm going to go in and allow a little extra Ric Rac on each side and snip it. And then we're going to glue it into place, and there's a lot of different ways you can glue it. I guess my first and easiest choice and most accessible is something you can buy just about anywhere, which is Elmer's. But the key to Elmer's is keeping it really neat. When you get into the really fine Ric Rac, this is a great tool. You just put any glue in it, like Elmer's, Sobo glue works, any nice water-soluble, washable glue that will wash off later. You put that in, and this makes a really nice fine point. But the key to it is keeping the tip really clean and the axis really clean. So you might need a little extra straight pin to keep that clean. And it's probably not something you want to store because later it's going to get clogged. This is another kind of a little glue that you can dab on, and we're talking about just little dots, not big streaks, because that'll just turn into a mess. Some people like these glue pens, and also these are just glue sticks. So you're going to just cut your Ric Rac. In this case, I'm laying it corner to corner, and I'm using the geometry on the 45, okay? So you cut a little extra, and what you're going to do is you're just going to go in and apply a little dab. Teeny, tiny little dabs. Press it in place. And Elmer's glue is not super sticky, but it's water soluble, so it'll come off your project if you happen to get any on. But be really careful because nobody wants to have to go clean up messes later, so just be really careful. So you're going to do that. And I'm going to do it again. So you just give a little extra, cut it. And again, using the geometry of the quilt and the block, just apply a little. Oop, I cut that a little short, but it'll still get in your seam allowance. Oh, I guess I cut it to there. Yeah, I'm not paying attention. Okay, so if you have a little Ric Rac, put it right there. Okay. And again. Now we're using extra, not the extra jumbo, but one of the larger Ric Racs. You can use all different sizes and get all different levels of subtlety and design and accent colors, or you can use a similar color and make it more subtle. So you really want to play with it and experiment and do what you like. And we're using this pretty large scale just so you can see it really well in the camera work. Okay. Next one. So there to there. A little extra. Corner, corner, corner. And I probably wouldn't put it on the Ric Rac until I know exactly where it's going to fall. And then if that makes you more comfortable, you can just tweak this a little bit, put it on the Ric Rac, and press it together with your fingers and do sort of a finger press, okay? And then let it sit and it'll dry and it'll stay in place, and then you just run it under the sewing machine. It's really easy. So these are just some different examples. There's that design, and you have an X, and you have something. This is again on the diagonal like that is, and then this one is using just following your seam lines. And this one's on the diagonal again, but on the piece line in the corner. So it makes sort of a flower effect. And that's almost like a leaf effect in the corners, okay? And you can see when you vary the contrast, you get different effects. Here's a couple examples of finished quilts where we use Ric Rac. Do you want to help Pam? This is Pam and Pam Kitty's fabric, and one of our most successful designs. It was in McCall's Quick Quilts quilting magazine, and it's a button and the Ric Rac going on the diagonal through this chain block, and then it's sewn into this inner seam. That's the only place you sew it into a seam, is right where it attaches to an inner border or a border. But other than that, it's just surface applied. Okay? That's one. That's pieced. And you can also do it to make a panel look like you pieced and did a whole bunch of work. And this one in particular is really great because when you set things in on the 45, it's a lot more work. So this is a panel that we did, and instead of seaming it from here over, it's all Ric Rac. And this is just sewn right into that inner border, and it looks like you spent a lot of time that you really didn't. This is our latest collection. It's called Sausalito Cottage, and there are 4 projects in this sales booklet that use Ric Rac. 2 of them are in magazines from McCall, so I can't show them to you, but I can show you this one. This is a really simple quilt, and you have the option to use no Ric Rac at all, and just a simple piece block that's just done with strip sets, or you can put it on the straight, following the lines of the quilt, and make sort of a plaid effect, or you can make it almost a garden lattice effect by putting it on the 45, which is exactly what we did before, where we put it and we followed the points and the geometry of the quilt to let us know where to place the Ric Rac. So there's lots of good stuff to come, and I hope you really like working with Ric Rac as much as I do.